So I'm watching this NQ that we looked at earlier. You can see that we've got momentum nicely up on the short-term chart. D's getting up towards the top here. Here we've got the kick. Unfortunately, we didn't get down below 80, which would have been better, but we've got the kick. So literally all we're waiting for now is this to tick in our direction. And sometimes you look at it and think, well, it's going to go without me, and then suddenly you get a little bit of red bar pops in, as you just see in there. So we're just sitting and wait, or set an alert ideally for the 45 minute if it turns green, and then take our entry. So now we can see that on the higher time frame we've just ticked green. Still got 26 minutes to go on the bar, but we've got all our entry conditions met. Would have been better if this wasn't so high, but for me, I'm going to take my entry now. And there is a trade on the 15 minute with the initial target at 43.75 for 2R, and see what happens. So the market's just opened. We can expect a bit more price movement in the next couple of minutes. And you can see that our bar on our higher time frame is still green, albeit we've still got 14 minutes before it closes. So just watching this bar here, it's been red again since we entered on the green, but it's flicking back up to green now. You can see it flicking as we speak, green and red. It's pretty crucial at the minute. It's heading to 40 seconds away, still green. We've got an option here. If it turns red and closes red, of course we can close the trade at a scratch or even maybe a minus 1/3 R or something like that. But for me, given that everything else is in our favour at the minute, D's up, K is obviously pointing down. That's not what we want to see, but that's the quickest indicator. We're still green here. If we stay green there and we're green here and K is pointing up, everything else is in our favour, so we stick with it. So now the bar's closed green, and we can say, well, it was good to enter as we did, albeit we've had a couple of scary moments. The net result of that is that we would be entering on the high of this bar here at 43.55 if we'd waited for that to close, whereas we entered at 43.50, so we got some more risk. We had more risk, but we've got potentially more reward if the thing works out in our favour. So this time of moment, the price has touched and reversed from the 100% point, but momentum, everything else is still up, so I'm not going to move my stop as we speak, but I am monitoring it closely to see if I need to take any action. A couple of points worthy of note as regards momentum are that in this area here, the momentum always remained positive. Even though it was red here, it still remained above the 0 line, so we consider that to have remained positive. And now on the shorter time frame, the momentum has also gone into the positive territory. So in the course of watching this price action, it's now made another attempt at this level and been rejected. So for me, it's time to move my stop from entry, which was here, up to break even, plus maybe a pip, and then we just monitor and see how we manage to trade from here on in. The reason for moving that stop is if you look here and here, we got huge divergence on the 15-minute chart and the 45 also. So that's kind of telling me that the run up is not with much conviction or not with much backing behind it. So hopefully it's not going to play against us, but if it does, at least we're at break even when it does. Just a note of interest comment here that you see now we've got the price making a slightly new high, but momentum also making a slightly new high, which is obviously preferable to as it was before where it was diverging. So on the 45-minute chart on the left, the higher time frame, we've moved on another bar. We've still got green momentum on that time frame. We've got K pointing up and D pointing up with a bit of room between the two of them for them to come together, so a bit more upward momentum hopefully there. And we've still got green up here. Stochastics kicking about around there, but that's why it's our secondary indicator that momentum is our first. Stop was at break even and there's nothing else for us to do at the minute. So as the price is now approaching my initial target, which was the blue line here, 4375, I've temporarily moved my target out of the way, and I'm going to put my risk reward tool on now, and I'll just follow this up with 1R stops unless any of the indicators indicate any different. So there's my risk reward calculating tool in place. You can see we're in between the 100 and 200% at the minute. Stop is at break even. If the price breaks above this 200%, then we'll be moving our stop to 100%. So the price actions hit 2R at the blue line. So now going to move the stop to 1R, which locks in 1R profit. At the same time, worthy of note is that we've still got green momentum here. We've still got KND pointing upwards. Got high momentum here, which is good because we've got rid of all that divergence. And KND are still pointing up here, even though they are above the oversold. They can stay there for a long time. So we just watch and wait and see. We may also see a little bit of sideways action here because, as you can see, we've still got divergence on this higher time frame. But a sideways action here would allow that to play out possibly, but see what happens. So we've had another bar close on the 45-minute chart, but I'm not sure you can see that, but it is still green. We're getting a bit toppy here. We are toppy here. And we've got our first red on momentum here, but that was to be expected, because if I show you the 5-minute chart, you can see we've had 5 or 6 red bars, in fact 7 red bars on there, but the price hasn't really gone anywhere, so we just sit and wait. Stop is also still at 1R, so nothing to do at the minute. So we've now got our first red bar closed on the 15 minutes, which is this red bar here, the first one. It was actually flicking green just before the close, but it's closed red. Price action still gone sideways, but yeah, still these are looking toppy. If you look to the left chart, what we've got here is we've got a load of ABCDs just about qualifies as an AB equals CD at 100%. Got an AB equals CD at 1618, and we've got an AB equals CD just there where we are now. So expecting some serious resistance, you would imagine there, but whoever knows. However, I'm going to exercise my option of moving my stop and locking in a little more profit just as we're getting close to that. So I'm going to stick myself somewhere 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, and then I've locked in a bit more profit. If she wants to carry on up, we're still on, we're still in. It's worth noting at this point that we've got now green momentum. This stochastic is oversold and has been for, overbought and has been for ages, but the price keeps marching on. We've got green momentum on the higher time frame, and still K hasn't crossed D there. That's all good for this trade as we sit. And if we can get the price action to take us to this 3R, we can then move our stop to this blue line, which was our original 2R target. That would be a nice place to be, but we'll wait and see. For the moment, I'm going to move my target to 4R, just so that we don't get a spike and take us out of the trade prematurely. One thing that's worthy of note is that you can see here we had divergence there, and in fact from this high to even to the current price, we have got divergence still. However, if you look at the more recent price action, we've actually got convergence where we've got a higher high on momentum and a higher high on price. So nothing for us to do at the minute, just set the alarm for every 15 minutes. The only thing I am going to do, having said that, is to move this stop up to my original target level now. We're far enough away from that, so I'm going to move my stop to there, and I'm happy that I've achieved my original target of 2R, and we're still in the trade, hoping to gain some more. Accepting, of course, that we keep moving the stop closer to the price action. At some point we're going to be hit and taken out, but as long as you do that with that knowledge, not a problem. So now the price has just made another new high. Everything's in our favour, but I'm still going to move this stop to just below this low here, so that if the price starts to retrace, I'm going to be out. Okay, so we've now closed on another 15-minute bar. You can see we've actually gone green now on here. We're up on here. We are just about up on there, and we're still green on there. So absolutely no reason to do anything other than to move our stop here, I think, to protect a bit more profit. We're 3/4 of the way, or 2/3 of the way between 3 and 4, so I think it's sensible to move the stop to 3R to lock that in as a profit. Well, we've had another bar close on the 15. Unfortunately, the market's also closed with it at 9 o'clock UK time for a short while. But we need one more bar here. You can see I've got this little diamond down here. That's waiting for the third bar. We've had 2 bars of this bar here. So I'm going to leave the thing as it is. We're already, I've just moved this out of the way to move a point, but we're already, as you can see from the red line, got the stop with 3R, so we'll just have to leave it now and see what happens when the market reopens. Okay, well, the market's just reopened after this 15-minute temporary gap and temporary stop, and I'm going to close this trade now. We've got a closed red bar on a higher time frame, albeit it only consisted of 2 bars. The software obviously has not taken that into account. But given that the official market is closed now, I'm going to call that a hit and take the 3.4R profit. So just as for review purposes, really, you can see that we entered this trade at this point yesterday, and we were able to follow it all the way up there using my strategy of the higher time frame. And you can see on both of these charts this little blue arrow. This is where the strategy told us to exit, which picked the top pretty nicely, as you can see from the subsequent price action. So all in all, successful trade with a good entry and a good result. I think also worth noting that this higher time frame, which kept us in and told us when to get out, remained green all that time until we got that first bar. I produced one more green bar after we came out, but this was all sideways price action, which, as a trader, we don't want to be in anyhow. So all in all, a good result. So this is David. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it informative, and I wish you happy and successful trading.